welcome to Citizen McCain. Look at our beautiful decorations. Our Christmas decorations. Ashley did it. Look how pretty it is. I
It
love the
looks so good.
cactus
I
with
love
the
the
tin.
tinsel on the cactus.
Me
So
too.
cute.
It's such a win. I do that in my house. I also love your Christmas decorations. Keep getting better. Obviously, Annabelle and her Santa hat. So many people were messaging me. I can't with the Annabelle Santa hat. So it looks
That's
so good.
actually so that's from Coco's when she was like a toddler. That's her little costume hat, and I saved it all these years. And I was like, what am I gonna do with this? I put it on the dog. I'm like, oh, that's for Annabelle. She's gonna wear that. So now I have to keep it forever and ever now. It's Annabelle's.
Well, Merry Christmas. We're coming up like a little less than 22 days before Christmas.
Oh, too
And
close.
yeah, too close. And we are very excited today. We have our old friend Yemisi Egbewole. I apologize that I'm pronouncing her last name wrong. It is not I pronounce everyone's name wrong. I'm really bad with names, but you guys know Yemisi. I'm very excited to have her back. She's going to talk all the political news, and we have some really good messy gossip to get into as well. That's a little political. Just a reminder, our little YouTube channel is doing so well. We're so excited. But if you've not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Please do. YouTube.com/@CitizenMcCain YouTube. But we would love to get to 30,000 subscribers by Christmas. That'd be such a great Christmas present. Ashley agrees.
Yes,
So
please.
if we can, we would love it. And again, like, thank you all so much for your support this year. Um, we didn't know we were going to start a brand new baby YouTube channel and have
We
to grow it
really
from
did
scratch.
not.
That
Yes.
was not something I knew I was going to do, but we are doing it. So thank you so much. And I am a little less than a month away from giving birth, or in that range. Um, I'm 9 months pregnant. I'm very big. Here,
Can't even tell from your face. It's crazy.
you
Oh my
see?
God, there
And
he is.
this is my Quince maternity shirt, by the way. Thank you again, Quince. They legitimately make like the best. But it's not they're our advertisers, but whatever.
Not
But
yet.
the reason
Wait a
why I'm
little bit
showing
longer.
you,
Yeah.
yeah, the reason why I'm showing you my big stomach and the reason why I'm talking about it is over the weekend, or actually I think it happened on Friday.
Yeah.
I'm addressing this here, even though I already addressed it on Twitter. Tucker Carlson had a guest on his show, and I'm not gonna say his name because it's not worth it. And they had a whole long, I did not watch the whole episode because I don't watch Tucker Carlson's show because it's just not my kind of content. He's not my kind of commentator. And they had a guest on who, among other things, talked about how my dad was gay because of his foreign policy, or there was like
Yeah.
something gayer than my dad's foreign policy. My dad
That
had
was
7 children,
crazy.
was married twice to 2 women, and not to make this weird for everybody, was like a notorious ladies' man before he got married. Actually dated a stripper when he was in college at the Naval Academy. It's a story that's in his book. I am not speaking out of turn, but it was like a little mild controversy for him when he ran for office. I don't care. My dad really loved women. I think that I don't really have anything else to prove about that. So that's an interesting thing. Apparently, everyone's gay, according to this commentator. And they talked about how fat I am. I'm a big fat lady. I'm 9 months pregnant. I have been fat shamed in my career since I started in media. I mean, I'm sure it's actually before I even met you, Miranda.
Mhm.
Um, People really have a real hard on about the fact that I'm not skinny. I don't know why it's so threatening in the age of like Ozempic and like hyper diets and whatever, that like I somehow have had like a great career and a husband and kids and got everything I wanted by not being a size zero. These are disgusting trolls and it's disgusting commentary. And for me, it's annoying and it's obnoxious. But I think about all the women who follow our show, follow our work, who may be struggling with a weight issue. Life is crazy. I'm super up and down, having babies, COVID life. If you work really hard, it's hard to fit in those workouts. We're all doing the very
Turning
best we
40,
can.
I mean, my goodness.
Yeah.
Not to mention,
Thyroid issues for people. Like, there's so many things. I always say you just never know anybody's story with anything, but
mhm.
particularly when it comes to weight. So I just want to say to anyone who saw that, don't feel bad for me, but feel bad for people who this is what they're doing for content farming and engaging. And I think part of the reason people are so scared to go after Tucker Carlson or his guest or anything is because these are very powerful people in the media. These are people with huge followings. These are people with, I mean, way more followers than I'll probably ever have. And people are scared, but it's bullying and it should be called out. And um, I just can't believe I'm 41 years old and I'm still being bullied about my weight, like as I'm like preparing to give birth. And yeah, I am fat. I gained a lot of weight when I'm pregnant, which you're supposed to do, but I'm also healthy Not that it's anybody's business, but I have like a very healthy pregnancy, thank God.
Hmm.
I don't have gestational diabetes. I don't have anything like that. Like I have very healthy pregnancy. I don't really have anything else to say other than a lot of women were really upset in my feed, on my social media, in my Twitter and Instagram and whatever. And um, we don't have to do this. Like women, you do not have to. I am living proof. You do not have to Ozempic yourself to hell in order to have a great career. And I just really want people, if that is my only thing at this point, the only thing I do in my life is to remind people that you can have a healthy relationship with food, have a healthy relationship to your body, and still have a great career. I'm here to tell you that because this toxicity and this, I'm very concerned about. We talked about it on the show with like Wicked, and it seems like heroin chic's coming back, and Ozempic. Everyone's just like Ozempic to hell. Like
Yeah,
nobody wants to eat, nobody wants to do anything. You, me,
I
like,
do.
and Essie Cup are the
Let's
last.
go to
Gonna be the
Arby's after
last.
this, please. Like,
Totally. I always say like you, me, and Essie Cup are gonna be like the last bitches still eating carbs in media.
my God.
But I just want to say like we don't have to go down this road. We don't have to do this. And I will never, ever talk about someone's weight in any way whatsoever that's negative like that. Because again, life is complicated and it's ugly and it's cruel. And we don't need to be talking about anybody's bodies that way. I don't really have anything else to add unless you want to add anything, Miranda.
Um, Tucker Carlson has three daughters, and I don't know how,
I
they
don't
feel.
know actually.
I looked it up. He's got some daughters, whether or not it's three or whatever. He's got four kids. I'm curious how they feel hearing these comments and that their dad co-signs or endorses them, platforms them, didn't seem to negate them or, push back on them, much like he's been doing a lot lately with some very
I will say
inflammatory
Tucker
things.
Carlson didn't say it. He just laughed along
Right,
with
but
it.
that's what I'm saying. It's like he's
But
allowing it.
then, sorry to interrupt you, but
Yeah,
then his channel promoted the clip last night. Like
exactly.
and put so clearly he's endorsing it because your channel is promoting it.
Yeah, he's
Sorry, go ahead.
co-signing it. He's allowing this jabroni to come on his channel and espouse these beliefs about women. I wonder what his wife thinks. Um, and Kate Winslet had an interesting point she made over the weekend. Is like she doesn't go on Ozempic, and she's like, you don't know what they're putting in these meds, and everyone's just taking them because the supreme ideal is to be this rail thin, skinny, whatever twig. It's like that is not what we need to do. That's not what we need to display for our younger women. We already had to grow up in this toxic, low rise, very skinny, early 2000s body ideal, and it wasn't healthy for us, and I don't want our girls to have to live through
I
that.
don't either. Yeah.
Or give that ideal to the young men who are growing up that they expect that. I think that we had a really good run there for a while where people just were accepting how people looked, and I think we need to get back to that because to go on and just say you're fat, which is absolutely insane. Um, what does that bring to the table? What does that like what point does that prove? It's an insane talking point and it doesn't make any sense. And I don't even know why we're platforming this person. They've been banned for a decade, and I went online to do some research last night, and every couple of years there's some article about this person's comeback. So
Mhm.
is this another fourth or fifth failed attempt at a comeback? So, they're gonna pop their head out of the ground like some mole person that they are, and then they'll go back to, you know, relative obscurity again, for another couple of years.
And I just want to say, like, I had like a fantastic weekend. I went and to a elf viewing party with my kids, which was so fun. I
What is
highly
an elf
recommend anyone.
viewing party? That's cute.
Okay, the Alamo Draft House does it. If you guys have an Alamo Draft House
Oh,
near
Elf the
the,
movie.
yes, the movie Elf.
Thought
And
you meant
then
like a
you
baby
dress
viewing, but
up.
it's an elf.
No, it's like you dress up. They have like interactive things with the movie. And I know our guest is here. Well, just one second, Yemisi. And then there was like a person who dressed up like Elf, like fantastic. And then I went to
How
our friend
fun.
Vanessa, who you guys maybe know, her kid's birthday party yesterday. Like I had a great week. I'm like, I have a great life. It's not about me. I just worry about the women who follow me
Hmm.
seeing this and feeling bad about themselves. And I also want to say one last final thing, and then we're moving on. I am not going to go on Ozempic or Trizepatide or whatever after I give birth. It's everybody's decisions about their bodies and their lives are their own. For me, being a little fatter doesn't bother me the way it does everybody else. Like I'm going to try and lose weight healthy and I want to be healthy. But I don't know what's wrong with me. I think I got like Men in Black flashed in my eyes at my like formative years. Like the way I look doesn't bother me the way it does like
It's
Tucker
because
Carlson's
you're
guest.
gorgeous. You
So
know,
no, I think that life, the one thing I really learned when my dad was dying of brain cancer is that like you really do not know how long you have on this earth. And the energy I want to put into my life and my day and my friends and my loved ones and my work, weight and an obsession with being skinny, I do not have the bandwidth. I do not have the bandwidth for it. I literally do not have the time. And also, I was talking to Ashley about this earlier. We have a show party, Christmas dinner coming up. I want to eat food with everybody and have a good time and like whatever. If I wasn't pregnant, have a glass of wine, like whatever. We're going to move on from this. Also, this same person said some really disparaging things about Benny Johnson, who is a very well-known commentator and host at Turning Point, about him and his personal life. And Benny Johnson said in a tweet, I am a duty bound to take action to protect my family against those who maliciously defame and attack us. More to come on that soon. Pray for healing for some really sick and delusional people. Jesus is about redemption. The legal system is about justice. Obviously implying, Benny, that he is going to be suing this individual. I'm not suing anyone for saying I'm fat, but I look forward to watching where that lawsuit goes. All right. Without further ado, we have our wonderful friend, Yemisi Egbewole. Please tell me how to say your last name. And this is not about, unless your last name is Smith, I cannot pronounce anybody's names. I'm so sorry, Missy, but it's so happy to see you. Please tell me how I pronounce your name.
Egbewole.
Thank you. It's beautiful. And you are the former chief of staff to the Biden White House office and now a political consultant and commentator. You can find her on TikTok at YemTamZ, on Instagram, and back on X, Yemisi on X.
Thank you, Meghan.
Thank you so much. Yeah. We love having you. First and foremost, you're everywhere. I see you everywhere all the time, and I love it. But you are all over my TV and screens and devices, and I'm so happy to see you everywhere. But you must be very tired because you're working all the time.
Pros and cons. It's good to see you, Miranda.
Hi.
It's pros and cons. I love that we're having a body conversation because I am now getting a lot of unasked for, unwarranted opinion about my physical appearance and about my weight as well, which is very crazy. Yeah, I think this Ozempic conversation, I think we have totally changed the line of like what is like little and skinny now. And it's like, especially I think with Ariana and Cynthia and their whole tour and their very little bodies, I just think it's skewed and warped for everybody, like what the average woman looks like.
Well, first of all, you're stunning. I always joke, I hope this isn't inappropriate, but I was like, what is she doing in politics? You should be modeling. Like, you're so stunning. I hope that doesn't sound crass. Like, you're just so beautiful. I mean, not that there shouldn't be beautiful women in politics, but you do not have to be beautiful to be a political commentator. It's not a prerequisite. But I think, when you first start, you're clearly like really, like I said, everywhere. I love it. I love seeing you everywhere, and I love seeing you on TV all the time. But I do feel like there's this special like thing that happens to women in particular where we're just like eviscerated. But like Karl Rove, who again, whatever, but like he's not Brad Pitt here. I never hear anyone talking about like how and I'm not trying to single him out, but he's just, he's not Brad Pitt. And I feel like there's a whole different thing for women than there is men. And I agree with you. I had sort of thought we were like over this a little more. And I don't know what's going on. Is it the rise of Ozempic? Is it like, I can't really figure out what's going on, but it feels very 90s heroin chic, the era that I think you're younger than me, but the era I grew up in, which is not a great time for body image in America.
No, Miranda said low-rise jeans, and I had like flashbacks of war.
It's a very triggering image. Yeah.
I know. I always say it would be so good to be like James Carville, where somebody asks you to come on TV and you throw on your LSU, your cap, and you've got the camera down here, low lighting, and it's like
he had a mustard stain on his shirt like a few weeks ago when he was like a legit mustard stain, and I was like, "What is happening?"
Could you imagine?
We don't have to be in our top hat, but like, what? You have a mustard stain. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
No. Yeah. Somebody messaged me. Was like, "I wish you were more authentic, like James Carville," and I was like, "I'm sorry."
What?
Never get booked again. Never.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. Like I said, I don't know why everyone feels like compelled to like do all this. But while we were on the subject of Tucker Carlson, a lot of people are scared to talk about him. I don't give a shit. He's happy talking about me. Fine. You open the floodgates. I'll talk about you. He was in Qatar over the weekend. I believe that's where he was. I believe it was just over the weekend. So he went to the Doha Forum, which I should say Donald Trump Jr. was there, Hillary Clinton was there. He wasn't like the only notable American figure there. And he was talking about how he is planning on buying a place in the Middle East. Number 3, please. Oh, that's not it. I mean, that's a picture of him giving you the finger.
Lovely.
Sorry.
That's how we all feel this morning.
As being a tool of Qatar. And I just want to say what you already know, which is I've never taken anything from your country and don't plan to. I am, however, tomorrow buying a place in Qatar, both because I am
pay a high check
in Doha, yeah, and I'm doing that because I like the city. I think it's beautiful, but also to make the statement that I'm an American and a free man, and I'll be wherever I want to be, which I think is important. But that does kind of leave us in a place where I have not taken any money from Qatar. I have instead given money to Qatar. And I wonder if you feel that that means I've bought you and you will now spew my propaganda.
Well, thank you. Just ask me whatever you want me to do for you, I will do it. But
okay, I don't understand what he's even saying with that, like, it clown laugh that he always does at the end of everything. What? I don't really understand what's going on. There's a lot of conversations about commentators being paid off by Qatar. There was actually a bunch of influencers on the right, including, I believe, Rod Smith, who just went last week to Qatar. So people are being paid. You're not taking propaganda trips and putting it all over social. You're not being paid. I don't know about Tucker here, but he certainly talks like he's being paid. Why is he bragging about buying a place in the Middle East? And also, the 3 of us are Americans. I'm not giving money to Qatar to somehow prove I'm patriotic.
Right. And I think it's good that you point out Clinton was there. A lot of people go there. Beyonce has even done a concert there. And so I think a lot of people have bad faith arguments about it and push back and go, well, I'm allowed to go. I'm allowed to go to the Middle East. Yes, you are allowed to go. A lot of people are going in their capacity as people who are greatly involved with politics, as people who promote their proximity to the president. A lot of the conservative influencers that went because were invited because they have large platforms that can then come to the States and speak about the good that Qatar does. And that to me is worrying because I think this administration has a very close relationship to them. And so people see that and then they want to go. But also people like Tucker who have huge platform, big influence, having these conversations about I'm a free American, I can come here and do what I choose. Okay, if we're gonna have a conversation where you mention the word freedom to the person running Qatar, then let's have a really conversation about the country. And people want to separate the two, and I think that's hard to do if you're somebody that works in politics and also that says I'm about the freedoms of America. Well, if you espouse the values of America here, when you go overseas and you sit down with one of their leaders, you also have to do the same thing there, even if it's tough. You're not going to, because Tucker Carlson was born into a lot of money, was raised with a lot of money, and is going to maintain that money. And you don't do that over there. I think
his like stepmother is the Swanson like heir or something. Right. Like he has and he has anyone who has many houses in different wealthy areas of the country isn't. I mean, I'm not poor either, but I'm not like that. I do want to say
Ted Cruz.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's just and then he always brings like the domestic fights that he's having with members to bring that overseas as well, where he was like, and Ted Cruz talked crap about you, and it's like, what? Where did that come from in the conversation?
He has a thing for Ted Cruz. That is like his number one enemy.
Yeah, and there's also this whole conversation. I don't see it happening as much on the left, but like, stop the infighting. And Miranda and I was like, you're the ones throwing grenades at us. And then you like expect us to just like sit back and take it. Like, that's absurd. And also I'm not like, some like, shrieking Daisy or something that's going to like sit back and be like, yes, okay, talk shit about me and it's fine. I don't know. I think Tucker Carlson's maybe like, I don't know, a few months away from being like, we should all convert to Islam. Do you think that the Republican Party is going to follow suit in this? Because there's definitely this big push to normalize all of this. And again, as you said, we shouldn't be hypocrites. As you mentioned, Beyonce, I think J-Lo has, Hillary Clinton
Williams was there with the conservative influencers for F1 or whatever. It coalesced around a big event. Like a lot of celebrities go.
But the one thing I will say though, when you're talking about freedom, if the three of us go to Doha, it's going to be an entirely different experience for us than it is for Tucker Carlson, just simply for the fact that we're women. And I assume the fact that you're a black woman, it's going to be an even different experience for you than it is us. Like, it is not a place of freedom. You can't even be gay there.
Yeah, I think about this like when the comedians went to that Riyadh festival in Saudi Arabia
Yes.
and they were like, "No, this is good. We get to bring comedy to them. We get to Zarnag, the Indian woman who's a comedian was like, "It was great because I was talking to an audience of women who look just like me and they're like, "Wow, look at this comedian." And I was like, they'll never get the opportunity to if they told their husbands they wanted to go into comedy, their husbands would say, No, thank you. Please sit back there." I just we all have to have these conversations about how women are treated there, what their views are. I mean, and Rob Smith, he went the conservative influencer, and he's a gay black man, and he was like, "I was fine, I was safe," and it was like, well, yeah, they're not going to do anything to you because you're going to come back here and talk about how great they are.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in the people who would criticize. How are they going to be treated over there?
He was getting dragged all over social media. Rob was for it. Because again, the same thing. I didn't even know he was gay. And I was like, that's it. Again, it's just like interesting choices, whatever. We have a question from Tara for Yemisi, I believe. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Tara.
Hi, thank you guys.
Where are you calling in from?
I am calling in from a suburb of Atlanta.
Nice to see
Ooh,
you.
where I'm also from a suburb in Atlanta, Marietta.
Oh yeah, I'm in Roswell.
Very nice. Okay.
I work at Kennestone Hospital in
Yep.
Marietta.
Yep.
I'm a nurse. Megan, you look great.
Thank
You
you.
look amazing. You're
Thanks.
beautiful. I think you're awesome.
Thank you.
And I had 2 sons and a daughter, and being a boy mom is amazing. They're much nicer to their moms. So
Thank you.
they are a lot less drama when they get to be teenagers. So I think you're
Oh,
going to love
no.
it.
Thank you.
I wanted to call in for a little while. And so the Tucker thing, I was really upset. I called into 2A after he had platformed Nick, is because I don't want any of those people in my party. I'm very moderate. I like my senators. They're fine. But my big concern, and Megan, I wanted to ask you because you're from Virginia, is how did somebody in Virginia get elected that said they wanted to kill Republicans?
Oh, I know. Well, Yemisi, you can probably speak on this too, because we talked about it before the
Because that's
election.
We did.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
mean, it does, because I'm very, like, I'm a Trump, but I'm sorry. I'm super moderate, right? So it's like, do Democrats really feel like they want to kill Republicans and they're like fine with it? Because Trump says a lot of stupid stuff. I get it. Half the time I don't listen, I cringe, but I don't know of any elected Republicans that said they want to kill Democrats. And so if that's where our politics are going, you can get elected by saying you want to kill the other side. It's very scary for me. So that's really all I have.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised he won, because all the polling
Yeah.
up until election day was that it was like very neck and neck. I also really liked the former attorney general. I still think he's probably like people say he's a front runner to run for Senate in Virginia next election cycle. We'll see what happens. I don't understand why people voted for it. It's obviously very upsetting for me as someone who currently lives in Virginia to like think about, oh, my neighbors are like fine with this rhetoric. But I think sometimes people just compartmentalize things. I can't do it. I'm so emotional when it comes to politics. Like, I can't vote for Republicans who shit on my family. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I just can't get, there's some things I like can't get over. If you're going to hang out, the question of like the Nick Fuentes, this era of politics, like I'm genuinely curious and horrified about what happens in the next 2.5, 3 years. Is Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson, are they going to be opening up the 28 RNC convention? Because if that happens, everybody on, I mean, Yemisi, you're a Democrat, but like everybody on this call was going to be like, I'm not voting for, I just opt out in that situation. I'm not doing any of this. Like, I'm just not engaging with this. And again, I think sometimes it's like when you have less skin in the game, respectfully, and I don't love identity politics, but when you're a privileged, white, wealthy male, it's a lot easier for you to look away from some of this stuff. It's scary for people. I mean, I can't imagine how people here feel. And some of the stuff Nick Fuentes not only is currently saying, but has said in the past. I mean, the stuff he says about Usha Vance and interracial marriage is horrifying on many different levels. And not that it matters, but like, I have a biracial family. Like, my sister's not white. So like, where the hell does that leave my family in this modern coalition, if that's where it's at? Yemisi, do you have anything to add, or Miranda? I don't know what to say about this. This is like a fluid problem, and it's very, very disheartening. Go ahead.
Everyone
Sorry.
with a position of leadership in this party needs to be shutting this down daily. Like, we cannot allow this to fester and simmer and then pop up like these people on Tucker's podcast. He's got an insane platform and a huge reach. I don't know if you saw this post on Yashar Ali's feed last night, but these women, two suburban moms with the sweatshirts at the basketball game. I'm not going to say this person's name, but this is another crazy podcast person, and these ladies showed up wearing this person's sweatshirt, her merch. So, we've got to stop this from becoming so normalized in these suburban mom areas, because it starts off small and then it gets huge and it becomes this gaping, festering cesspool wound in the party that becomes impossible to stop. Everybody who can just needs to do what we can to spread the actual information and not spreading this misinformation, because if you all get lumped in, everyone's going to think that everyone believes this.
Not that I'm not trying to depress everyone, and I echo everything you're saying, Miranda, but I do not feel bullish about the future with this. I feel like everything that I always believe in ends up one way or another losing. And the trend lines on this, I mean, it's going in an entirely different direction. Again, where the Tara in outside Atlanta Roswell voter lands, you're going to lose You're going to lose a lot of people that people think don't exist, especially a lot of just the normies, as we're called. There will be consequences politically and in the electoral box. But I actually do think this, sadly, and maybe I'll feel better. Maybe it's just because it's like moment we're in right now. But I actually don't feel good about the future. I do think the way people are dancing around a lot of this, not wanting to make strong arguments, not wanting to disavow it. Again, like, I think Tucker Carlson could like literally go and take a dump on the Constitution and people would be like, he's just making America great. Like, it's fine. It's great. America first.
Do you think they believe it, or are they just saying it to clicks? Because I was very upset. I had a 27-year-old son that died of fentanyl overdose.
Oh, so sorry.
And so when Charlie Kirk, when that happened, I mean, I was like bawling all day, and I'm like, why am I crying? I don't know this. But he, a lot of it was, my son died and he died. But he was like he was for normal, nice, like, we want families and good stuff. And then now you have all these crazies, and it's like, I'm not going to be part of that. I'm not, I don't want any part of that. I don't want to be part of the Republican Party if that's what they stand for. But I just wonder how much of it is clicks. Like, Candace Owens has gone off the freaking deep end, and how much do they believe? And so...
Can I say, I think it's interesting that Candace and Tucker were both from institutions, like Tucker of Fox and Candace of like Turning Point, no matter how much credit she wants to give Turning Point, but that was definitely a huge boost for her. And then, right, they break off and they kind of do their own things. And they've really amassed kind of these like deity levels of fame. Like, they had followers before, but now I think they have, just almost believers in whatever this messaging. It almost feels like when I watch, and I watch a lot of Tucker and Candace and like Megyn Kelly, some of the stuff, it almost feels like church when they're speaking. Like, it's like they're proselytizing or like preaching kind of a sermon. I think Tucker has even become even more grandiose in the way that he speaks, and because of that, a little bit more extreme, because he doesn't have kind of those like the Fox corporate bubble. And I think people love them because they are this view of like what is like the anti-corporation, and you have to get a little bit conspiracy theory if you go anti-corporate, anti-big guy, big media guy. You always get weird in the conspiracy waters.
I love a good conspiracy theory, but some are even a little too much for me, and I've had to back off. So anyway, I appreciate you guys taking my question.
Thank you, Tara.
No, and I think and Yemisi, if you want to like add anything on, I I think that what the Republicans are doing right now, the same way that like the very far woke left, if you will, or whatever you want to call it, like alt left, whatever. I don't know the terminology for it. The way that there's like some true extremists in the Democrat Party and they weren't tamped down enough. That's exactly what's happening now. And both of these sides are going to be hugely problematic going into midterms and obviously 2028. And I was over the weekend was speaking with some people that like work in conservative politics, and we were talking about just like Republicans may not necessarily be able to win anything without Trump at the top of the ticket, truly. Like, because for whatever reason, he a lot of times is more popular than the candidates running in their districts, et cetera, et cetera. And if your message is like, the best way to be a patriotic American is to give money to Qatar, and we can't have interracial marriage, and, we're going to pal around with legit neo-Nazis, like, I don't know where the hell that goes. I don't know. And although I live in Virginia, I still consider myself an Arizonan. Arizona's full blue right now. You want to know why it's full blue? Because you are a great example of a lot of people that live in Arizona, independents, moderates, libertarians, center right, center left, and they don't want this shit. So if you want to win Arizona and places like that, you just can't do this. And that's very politically inconvenient for people like Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, I tell people that the average voter, especially when I think about Georgia, is somebody like you, Tara, who doesn't mind Warnock, doesn't mind Ossoff, voted for Brian. The amount of people I know that voted for a Republican governor but a Democratic senator exist in Georgia, and people forget that there is nuance still in the way that people vote, because a lot of people identify with so much of what they see online. But I mean, and we can maybe we'll get into this later about Marjorie Taylor Greene, but I mean, she's somebody that anytime I see her go, well, no, I'm not going to run for governor. No, I'm not going to run for Senate. I'm not going to run statewide. And everybody's like, oh, well, good for her. She's done with politics. I kind of think, well, she's saying no because she can't, because whatever she did worked online and it worked in her district. But somebody like her is not the Republic. Like the Georgia Republican Party would not run a Marjorie Taylor Greene statewide against a Ralph Warnock. They know better than that. They would get somebody a bit more like moderate in the middle, just a regular Southern Republican, and they would run a regular Southern Democrat. And people forget there are all of these states and silos where they are running politicians that understand their culture and their localities. And then we get online and there are these mega stars in politics who aren't really a part of any communities. None of these people, Candace Tucker, none of them are involved in local politics. None of them really know who represents them or talk to them. They're more focused on these battles with like the other leadership in the party because they want the ultimate seat and the voice.
Yeah, and it'll be.
I like my senators because I don't see them on MSNBC. I don't see them on Fox News. Like, I'm sure they're doing stuff. They're just fine. They're not like flame. And so anyway, thank you. I know you guys gotta go.
No, I agree with that. And I also think that, that it's like I said, it's very politically inconvenient for people to realize that voters like you exist and are very alive and well in a actually very strong coalition. And as smart as the RNC is in Georgia, that it's been completely opposite in Arizona. Run the most radical candidate and then fuck around and find out and see what happens. And like, it's not hard to know to figure out why you want to have a Republican governor or a Republican senator. You got to run somebody more moderate. I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. Tara, I wish you a Merry Christmas. Thank you for calling in. And we really appreciate you and voters like you. And I love that you're from Atlanta, outside Atlanta, just like Yemisi. Do you want to talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene? I actually think we should show this, Yemisi. She was on 60 Minutes of all things. I don't know why Leslie Stahl's interviewing her. I actually like Leslie Stahl. And I'm like, what are we doing with this with our 60 Minutes time? Could we play number 5? They got into a little tiff together that's very entertaining.
It's the most toxic political culture. And it's not helping the American people.
But you contributed to that. You were out there pounding, insulting people.
Leslie, you've contributed to it as well with your own program. Yes, you're accusatory, just like you did just then.
I know you're accusing me, but I'm smiling.
You're accusing me.
I am accusing you.
But we don't have to accuse one another.
I want you to respond to what you have done in terms of insulting people, yelling at people, and then saying,
I'd like for you to respond for that.
I don't-
No, you can respond
I
to that.
don't insult people.
You do, in the way you question, and you're accusing me right now.
What's she doing, Yemisi?
Why is she so defensive? She's been on the apology tour for a month.
But also,
Oh my
it's like
goodness.
the crocodile was eating everybody else's face. And now that it's eating mine, I'm against crocodiles. Like,
She's
that's
like,
not, like, yeah.
She's
go
standing
ahead,
in front of a burning house, like with the kerosene, and she's just
Who
like,
did
I don't
this?
know, guys.
Have the house light on fire.
How did we get
Who
here?
said that?
It is funny watching her on 60 Minutes because also to the media, how did we get here? You had this woman from South Georgia who came up and everything out of her mouth was inflammatory. Nothing was concrete or policy based. It was all personality. And guess what? The media flocked to her too. She was on every major network. She was doing interviews. They loved catching a little soundbite as she left the Capitol. They would surround her in these big scrums. And now they wonder, wow, how did she just completely flame out? And it's like, well, yeah, she didn't do any real politics, right? She had no coalition, she had no real allies. She depended solely on the president. And then once she fell out of favor, she turned around and nobody was with her. I mean, I miss the days when politicians went to Washington and they formed alliances. They like actually built caucuses together because they understood that they needed to pass things together. And this is a far right, far left problem of like a lot of the people love on the far left, the loudest people. They always say, you know, you can pull up a Bernie Sanders speech, that's fine, but now pull up the amount of bills that he's led in these past. You know, one is going to be larger than the other.
Do you think that she's really trying to remake herself as some kind of like wounded moderate? Look, she's always Jewish space lasers to me. Like she's never going to live that down. It's obviously like absolutely insane. I don't trust it. I don't trust people who completely reinvent their politics in 20 minutes for obviously like media, gain or whatever. Where does she go? Trump put about a very long Truth Social post right before we came on. I don't have time to read it. You guys can read it if you want. He's just saying she's an idiot and she wouldn't be anything without him. But like, what is her future? Because people are saying she wants to run for president, which she could certainly be a spoiler candidate. But if you cannot win in the state of Georgia, you cannot also win the White House, Yemisi. Okay.
I mean, I think she's just hit that ceiling. She's a personality. And look, I think about kind of like a Beto O'Rourke in Texas where people were like, what do we do with him? What do we do with him? And they tried to elevate. And then there's that ceiling for Democrats in Texas where it's like, this is as far as you're going. You're not getting the statewide seat. I think it's on the flip side for her in Georgia. There's just no way she makes it out of that Republican Party as a leader in any kind of sense. And I also wonder, well, what is your audience here? There are some Democrats that are sympathetic to her, and now that she is, all it takes is to fall out of favor with Trump in order to get some Dems to grab you up and say, no, come over here, come over here. But I think for the most part, people on the Democratic side are like, oh, okay, see you never, go away. You know, you were elected, you didn't want to finish your term, which, by the way, I think is the most egregious thing. I think it is absolutely awful for voters to put their trust in you and you not to just finish it out. And I think that, like, same with Mark Greene, who was like, I got a private sector opportunity, I'm out. That's not the way the job works. It's really starting to annoy me how we're diluting this and people are just like hunting themselves out before they're done. But anyways, I don't know where her audience is on the Republican side, because there are, for moderate Republicans, right? It's for all the things, I mean, with the lasers, the 5G, the Wi-Fi, it's all too much. And then to not have the favor of Trump is just like, I think, just a black marker on you as well. So I think she just keeps doing the media hits. The media are the people that are going to keep fueling this with, I mean, the one-on-one with 60 Minutes. And then Trump says in his Truth Social post, it was very long, but at the end, he calls out Leslie Stahl, he calls out 60 Minutes, and he goes, this new ownership is just as bad as the last one because y'all are having her on. And I'm like, okay, media is going to get themselves in trouble with the president as well on this.
Yeah, the patron saint Barry Weiss is supposed to be reanimating CBS from the inside out. It does seem a lot like the old CBS. Miranda and I both have questions about her leadership in general, and I thought things were supposed to be different and change, and it looks the same.
I can't control who they book for guests. I mean, that's ridiculous. But
but Barry Weiss can.
Right, but what I'm saying is he can't control who they book for guests just because he's unhappy with this one appearance. now they're going to never book Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think that her appearances are going to fizzle out. And I think ultimately she lands on hosting her own podcast. She seems to have a lot of thoughts that she needs to get out. And so if she needs to, speak into a microphone for an hour a week, then that's fine. I think that's where she's probably going to land.
I like Leslie Stahl. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know. I find her like comforting. She's been around
I like
10,000
Leslie
years.
Stahl.
Yeah.
Yes,
When I was an intern at Saturday Night Live, literally a million years ago, I remember her interviewing Lauren Michaels like then, and even then being like, Leslie Stahl. And this is, I think it's like 22 years ago. It's like a really long time. That woman's been around a long time. So, and she's like, me, what did I'm not calling people Jewish space lasers. What did I do? Like, I like that too.
She's just doing her job. Yeah.
Really quick, we have an ad for you guys, a partnership. You guys know all about our wonderful association and partnership with Cozy Earth. Christmas time is just around the corner. I am very late on Christmas presents this year. I don't know about you guys. Christmas presents are a pain in the ass. They really are, because you got to get it all delivered, got to get it wrapped, whatever. And they sent us these sheets. Yemisi, this is not exaggeration, because they're paying us and they're our advertisers. The greatest sheets I've ever had, ever. My daughter just had to have dental work done, and I put her in my bed because she was freaking out, and I wanted she could watch a movie and be in bed. And she put those sheets over her, and she was talking about how they're cozy, best sheets ever. And Cozy Earth offers a 100-night sleep trial. And if you don't love them, return them hassle-free. But trust me, I promise you, you will not want to. And all of my family are getting these sheets for Christmas. And we have a promo code for you. Give the gift of everyday luxury this holiday season. Head on over to cozyearth.com and use my code McCain for up to 40% off. Just be sure to place the order by December 12th. That's coming up, you guys, for guaranteed Christmas delivery. Listening after the 12th, don't worry. My codes still work year round for 20% off. And if you get a post-purchase survey, be sure to mention you heard about Cozy Earth right here. Give the gift of comfort that lasts beyond the holidays and carries into the new year. I'm telling you, the sheets, the body butter, the pajamas, and the bathrobe. Those are the things you need.
It's a one-stop shop.
That's the perfect
bathrobe
night.
is the best.
Yeah, I know. Since
It's
I'm in
like
my cozy,
being at a spa, fancy
the
hotel.
sleepy time bear with the tea, that's me,
Yes.
right, Endless? That's what I want. So that's what we have to say. And like I said, thank you so much to Cozy Earth. We really genuinely love your products.
Best.
Yemisi, I know you wanted to talk about Josh Shapiro. We want to talk about Josh Shapiro. Lots of rumors. Axios has the whole report about how he's basically running for president. He's extremely popular, senator from Pennsylvania, for people that maybe don't know. According to a recent 2028 Democrat poll, it shows that Pete Buttigieg and Josh Shapiro are getting almost no support from Black voters, literally 0% for both of them. For Buttigieg, this isn't new. This was something that really impacted when he ran for president before. I am surprised about Josh Shapiro in a recent California 2028 primary poll, 0% among Black voters. I really, that surprises me for some reason. 0% is kind of hard to put. Zero. What do you make of all this? And what do you make of Josh Shapiro saying, I mean, he's not saying it explicitly, but floating that he wants to run for president?
Yep. Shapiro at 0 was actually a bit of a shock to me as well. I totally expected Pete. That is what it is. And they're going to have to work to really change that. He is just so undeniably popular in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I think he has the least amount of facial and name recognition for those outside the Beltway and outside the Commonwealth. And that's going to be his big uphill battle. But look, he's going to be in BC this coming week. He's doing a talk with Governor Cox. I think he does really, really well with those across the aisle conversations. I know there's supposed to be kind of like a book tour gearing up. I mean, this is all like check the box 2028 kind of stuff. I mean, the profiles that he's been doing, the sit down interviews, I think he's gearing up in a way, but he has to play it a bit more cautious in the Democratic Party. Gavin Newsom and his whole shtick with the memes and like the riling up the base and the energy, that plays well for the personality that Newsom is. I don't think Shapiro is that personality. And so he's also going to have to find out how he fits within the race and within like all the candidates that are starting to converge and kind of take form, right? We know Pritzker will probably do something eventually. I'm still sitting on the sidelines waiting if Whitmer, where there have been a couple profiles of her, if that means anything. But I think he has to figure out where he fits, and he has to figure out where he fits as a Jewish man. That's going to be a really uncomfortable conversation for a lot of folks in the Democratic Party, because we're going to have to face some of the feelings that people have on the incredibly far left progressive side that I don't even, it's interesting. I think it's far left, but it seems to be creeping more and more just towards even people in the middle of like views on Israel, which are often conflated with their views on Jewish people. And so
Mhm.
Shapiro is going to have a little bit of a tough time uphill for that. And that's regrettable.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. And obviously, it's hugely problematic on the right as well. It's like why they say that horseshoe theory, where it's like, Anna Kasparian and, Tucker have the same views on, like, as long as it's like Israel and Judaism, it's like boop. It makes me so sad that that's even a factor in any candidate. Again, on the right, it would be we'd be having the exact same conversation. I do know, like you said, he's extremely popular in Pennsylvania, really important swing state. I have to say, like, I don't follow him like the way you do because I'm not a Democrat,
Mhm.
but he seems like sort of a moderate statesman. Like, again, I don't know. Maybe there's more to this than I don't know. Do you think he can work on his support with the progressives? With, again, he a lot of work with Black voters, obviously. Like, can it be done? Or do you think Democrats are looking for more like the red meat personality flamethrowers this time?
My want for those that are centrist in the Democratic Party is that people view them with the same kind of fervor that they view folks on like that are progressives and on the far left. It's the personality is so driven by those on the far left that a lot of the work on the actual policy is left to those in the middle. And the people doing the work are not the people who oftentimes grab the headlines and the attention. He does stick really to moderate sensibilities, and that in kind of today's political world, 2025 going to 2026, it takes so much more to break through with just the regular, normal, uninteresting things than it does to kind of say Hitler. Do you know, like Trump is Hitler gets a headline.
Sure.
That gets Jasmine Crockett on every single primetime network TV show back to back to back. Josh Shapiro is not going to do that. The governor is like a sensible person who understands his constituency and how to talk to people across the aisle. And so he's going to have to do even more footwork. I think Newsom is not going to have to travel as much in the next year. He's got a great online game, and the likes and clicks are coming. Now, I always say the people who were retweeted the most, if that was actual votes, then AOC would be president. So,
Sure. Sure. And
Bernie Sanders would have won.
Well, everyone that's saying that it's, obviously going to be like Newsom and JD Vance. I'm like, I remember when everybody told me it was going to be Jeb Bush, and I remember when it was going to tell me that it was, DeSantis. Like, things aren't inevitable in politics, and people need to chill out.
I remember when people told me Joe Biden wasn't going to make it, and I said, yeah, okay, Iowa and New Hampshire can say whatever they want, but I'll wait for South Carolina. And so that is also where I'm hopeful for Shapiro and getting those numbers up, because you don't survive in the Democratic Party without like that consistent Black voter base.
Well, I wanted to ask you about Congressman Clyburn, because he made some comments over the weekend about he agreed with Michelle Obama that America was not ready for a woman president. But he was saying, like, that's why we need to continue supporting women candidates. I think that clip has been misconstrued. Congressman Clyburn, I love. I like. This sounds a little. I don't know how this sounds. Maybe because it's just the holidays, but I love a familiar, cozy statesman. Makes me feel safe. It makes me feel like, in emergency situations, he is going to keep a level-headed. He's been around a million years. And also he's the kingmaker in politics. Getting invited to his fish fry in South Carolina is like absolute sign of deference that you are being let into the inner circles of the coalition. I don't know. I really like what he represents, and I like people like him. I think because I'm so old. Where does he stand in this? Like with a Josh Shapiro, because you're right. Like, and he also, arguably helped Biden cross over the finish line one way or the other. Do you think that, like, if it's like Shapiro versus Newsom, like, who is he going to go for? I mean, and he really is, like, people want to downplay it. He's extremely well-respected kingmaker in politics.
Yeah, I think he leans towards the Shapiro, and I completely agree with you on all things Clyburn. Whenever people tell me like he's old, he's got to get out, I'm always just like, you
No.
all you all equate like age and energy with this, like they will get things done. I'm like, there are plenty of younger people in Congress that don't even pull the days that Jim Clyburn does, and they do not have the connections, and they cannot move and push candidates. And right now, going into midterms and going into 2028, you really do have to have those kingmakers. I think Shapiro is going to have to rely a lot on Clyburn. I mean, Newsom went, but earlier this year, he went over to South Carolina and did some handshaking and things like that. But look, Pennsylvania is more palatable to an everyday American than whatever happens in California. The West Coast is the boogeyman. It is the boogeyman to Republicans, but it's even confusing and an enigma to a lot of Democrats. I mean, as a Southern Democrat, I oftentimes say a Democrat in California is not the same thing as a Democrat from like the suburbs of Atlanta. So for somebody like him who has only ever been steeped in California politics, I think Newsom, once he gets offline and actually gets in there in the communities, starts doing the rallies, I think he's going to have a harder time translating to people.
No, I totally agree with you. And also, just get Spencer Pratt on the road. If I were a candidate running against him, I would bring Spencer Pratt to every rally that man is holding in every town hall and have him do a counter narrative with his opponent. Like, and just be like, he burned down my house and he'll burn yours down too. Like, I would literally, that is what I would do if I was in charge.
Get Halle Berry, actually, guys. All we need is Halle Berry.
Yes, Halle Berry too. By the way, so disgusting. If people miss this, he was like basically dismissing her advocacy for medical awareness about menopause. What an asshole. Like, come on. Like, oh my God. And also, like, you want to piss off Halle Berry?
Yeah.
Like,
also, you don't get the
want to piss
belt
off
by
menopausal women. Yeah.
I know. Can we move on to some fun stuff? If you don't mind, no more politics. I don't know if you've been following this, Yemisi, but Quentin Tarantino gave this like wild interview where, among other things, he criticized the actor Paul Dano's performance in There Will Be Blood. During this podcast, he called Dano the weakest effing actor in SAG, and then described his work as a giant flaw that, in Tarantino's view, prevented the film from ranking higher on the list of all-time greats. I thought There Will Be Blood is on the list of all-time greats, but okay. He also went on to criticize Matthew Lillard, the actor from Scream and Scooby-Doo. Matthew Lillard had an emotional response over the weekend. He was at GalaxyCon in Columbus, Ohio. He has a new movie out called Five Nights at Freddy's 2 that just opened to a huge, by the way, $63 million opening, post-Thanksgiving ever, $109 million, hit movie. Can we play the clip of Matthew Lillard talking about Quentin Tarantino, number 13, please?
Tarantino this week said he didn't like me as an actor. Whatever. Listen. The point is that it hurts your feelings. It fucking sucks. And you wouldn't say that to Tom Cruise. You wouldn't say that to somebody who's a top-line actor in Hollywood. I'm very popular in this room. I'm not very popular in Hollywood. Two totally different microcosms, right? And so, it's humbling, and it hurts. So, we love you. Thank you.
I interviewed Matthew Lillard one time, Yemisi, and he was really lovely for a TV show he was on. He was like a great interview and really down. A lot of people were coming to Paul Dano's defense, including Maya Rudolph, who's her husband, directed There Will Be Blood and was putting like pictures up of it. This is a mess. People are very angry at Quentin Tarantino. What do you make of all of this?
I think Quentin Tarantino loves to piss people off. I mean, everything that comes out of his mouth is like controversial or contradictory. I don't see where he gets the benefit from criticizing actors that have a beloved fan base. Like Matthew Lillard, yes, he's not like an A-list superstar, but he does have, I mean, people go to Comic Cons just to see him.
Yeah.
I mean, all of his movies are like classics, beloved. I'm confused on the hate with Paul Dano because when I think about that movie, each performance is like gripping to me. I mean, I think, Quentin Tarantino makes like these rage baity movies like about like Nazis, about slavery, that like gin people up and their emotions. And I think the actors in his movies carry him, and they have for a very long time. But, he's I don't know if he's as beloved as he thinks he is. And I think his comments right now prove that. He lives in his own world.
Yeah, there's something about, as I mentioned at the start of the show, I took my kids to see Elf over the weekend, like an Elf screening, and Elf is not an Academy Award winning, Shakespearean epithet. It is hilarious and it's cozy and it's a great movie. And it's like, not everything has to be like the most, erudite, like it's like we're okay. And I felt really bad for Matthew Lillard and Paul Dano, but they should know that like America loves them and it doesn't matter.
Rotten
Do you have
Tomatoes, who? I don't care.
Yeah, totally. I'm like, I for one like Scream. Are you paying any attention to this Warner Brothers merger going on
Yeah.
at all? For people that don't know, Miranda has a great rundown for us. This is a little in the weeds, but I think this is an interesting conversation because there's like up-to-date news right before we came on. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Miranda.
so I'm gonna read from my page because there is literally up to the minute stuff. So Netflix is trying to buy HBO Max and the entire Warner Brothers studio, like all of it. And so Paramount and Skydance is coming in over the weekend with this like hostile buyout offer, and it's like $2 a share higher than what Netflix is offering. And so people in the industry are freaking out because they're saying that it really feels like we're watching the old studio system collapse in real time. So here's where things stand today. Warner Brothers Discovery is basically stuck between these two giant bidders, Netflix and Paramount. And while Paramount is offering more money in all cash, they're trying to take the whole company. Trump is jumping in, and he said over the weekend that he's not sure that the Netflix deal will even go through, and this matters because he and regulators will have to approve it. And he did mention that he spoke to Ted Sarandos, who's the CEO of Netflix. So now there's this huge question mark over everything. Is Netflix going to get blocked? Will Paramount force a takeover? And underneath it is this huge anxiety in the industry that we're headed towards total monopolization of Hollywood, fewer studios, fewer theaters, and one or two mega streamers deciding what gets made, what doesn't, whether AI gets used, what happens to old movies. Netflix has this thing where they don't like to run like Casablanca. They don't want to run old movies, and HBO Max, that's what they do, is they have this huge library and back catalog of classic films that they've been working on restoring and digitizing to put on the streamer so that people have access to these, archives. So what's Netflix going to do? Can they handle this library? Are they going to keep it separate? Are they going to put it onto the one platform? Can they handle all this content? How much is that going to raise prices? So there's just a lot of what ifs up in the air right now.
There's also, right before we came on, they were saying that Paramount is trying to have a hostile takeover, even though my understanding was that Warner Brothers had won the bidding war. For people that, again, this is all very like niche, but David Ellison, the same guy who just recently bought CBS, would be in charge of that. And people were putting very hilarious memes from Succession where it was like, I'm the oldest boy. He's a Nepo baby like me.
I'm the
He's like,
highest bidder.
I get what I want. I'm the highest bidder. I'm Kendall Roy. Do you care about this, Yemisi? Is this too entertainment inside weeds? Any thoughts?
No, I think in another world, this kind of big antitrust monopoly conversation would also be happening in Congress, and Congress would have had more of more of an input on this. I worked, she still does, but when I worked for Senator Amy Klobuchar, she was chair of the antitrust subcommittee for Senate Judiciary, and a lot of times CEOs would want to meet with her because they'd want to have these like conversations. And it's crazy now that it's all just happening from the White House. I know like Jared Kushner is involved with Paramount Warner Brothers on that end, and it fuels a little bit of again, maybe family business, family interest, while we're all having this conversation about what does our media look like in the next 5 to 10 years, even in the next year, if something like this goes through. And Ted Sarandos is going to learn that in order to have any conversation with Trump, he has to put a deal on the table. So we'll see if that means a ballroom, if that means the library, what that ends up looking like, because I do think that something this big, Trump as a businessman is going to look at this and think, what can I get out of it? And this is his arena too. Okay, it comes from television, it comes from entertainment. So that's I think people oftentimes forget that is like before he was the president, right? He was on our TV screens. He was in our favorite Home Alone movies. So so
I was
he has a
also
vested interest in what the movies look like.
And everything
was-
with him is transactional. Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
I was wondering if David Ellison too, like once Trump is out of office, whenever that is, and if a Republican doesn't win in 28, like this cuts both ways. If you look like you're someone who is in the tank politically for a president or administration, like again, we've all been around a very long time. Like what goes up must come down. And like, how's your network going to lurk then? That's why I did not like this like Barry Weiss. It's not that I didn't think that like CBS didn't have problems and should be moderated, but I think if you're like, now we're the Republican friendly place, it's like, just be journalists and put someone in who's not a commentator. Like, I just thought the whole thing was like people who maybe have not gone through the election cycles paying attention the way we have. The Golden Globe nominations were announced. I want to tell you the best motion picture nominees, and I want to know if you've seen any of them, either of you, okay? Because I have seen one, which really says a lot about where we're at in entertainment. So Frankenstein on Netflix, something called Hamnet, something called It Was Just an Accident, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. I've seen Sinners. I've seen Sinners. I haven't. What are these movies?
Okay, I do want to see Hamnet because it stars Paul Mescal and I like him.
Okay.
But I have also really only seen Sinners. Look, guys, if it's not on Netflix, it's hard for me to watch it.
Frankenstein is on Netflix, and I think Hamnet like literally just came out like within the last month or something. So that's new. But Frankenstein is on Netflix. We could watch that.
Why are these I'm sorry, that was best motion picture drama. There's one for comedy too and musical. So I'll give you guys this
Wait a minute,
too.
that might be more likely. Okay.
Yeah.
Blue Moon, Begonia, Marty Supreme, No Other Chance, Nouvelle Vague, One Battle After Another. I just watched Begonia. It's hot garbage. I have no idea why it's on.
I just watched Begonia too.
Did you like it?
I had no idea what the end. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I was like, it ended, and I went, "What?"
It's terrible. I was literally like, "Is this a joke?" No, you guys, I hated it, and the ending, I thought it was like a parody. Like I was like, "Is this a joke?" It's like, and the costumes are really stupid, and like. Just go. I'm not going to give it away in case you want to watch it. But I thought the ending was like absurd. Hated it. I hated Begonia. What is it? I haven't seen. I know One Battle After Another. I know that movie. I did
want
not
to watch
see
that. I heard it's great, so I really want to see that.
Is there some kind of issue? Like, I just don't understand these. I just don't understand what like critics like. If I were in charge, like this certainly wouldn't be what is nominated. And I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I'm like, I haven't seen any of these goddamn movies.
Do these even matter anymore? I mean, now that we have all of these streaming platforms, so many streaming platforms, it's what is popular now is in the consumer's hands. It really used to be these studios got to decide, and you only got to see the things that they put in the theaters, and then you'd have to DVR the rest. But you don't need that anymore. People, I mean, some of these movies won't even like crack like 2 million, right? They'll only be in special screens and theaters. It almost feels like this self-grandizing thing just for a small circle of people at this point. Like when I watch the Oscars, I think there is nothing here that has mass appeal. Not that I believe good art has to have massive appeal, but it's a lot of people rewarding themselves for what? For like 3 people seeing you in like 5 different regional screenings.
Yeah, and the stuff that's like commercially successful, I feel like sometimes it's just like really downplayed. I don't know. It's just interesting. And like I said, I was like, I don't even know what any of these are. I just like don't know what this is, but
Usually
we'll
I
see.
like the Golden Globes for the TV side of it because I usually seen more of the TV shows than
television is great now. Yeah.
Television's so good. Yeah.
It's like in a renaissance. I think television is so much better than movies. I'm watching All Her Fault right now I'm on like episode 4 or something.
I love that.
I finished it.
Yeah.
I had to watch it in a day. I couldn't stop.
Like, I had to go to bed. I started last night. I watched 4 episodes in a sitting. No movie that I can recently think of, except I saw Wicked and I sat through that. But like I'm watching a lot of good television.
Yeah.
A lot of good
I'm
television.
watching The Chair Company and it's like crazy gripping too. I finished the most recent episode last night and I was just like, what? And I can't wait until next Sunday for the next episode.
I'm watching Landman and it's fantastic. Just FYI.
I gotta get
if you
into
want
Landman.
I thought I read that it was
I didn't
canceled.
think
Is
I
it
was
not
going to be
canceled?
into it. You will like it, Missy. Just trust me if you're bored over Christmas break. And also, just a reminder and announcement: Miranda and I, and feel free to join us. We'll be watching the Diddy documentary on Netflix, produced by 50 Cent.
I finished
know
it yesterday. It's a
I have
lot.
not. I know you, Missy. It's
It's
very
a
messy,
lot.
and
Messy with a capital M, and I'm here for it. And I'm here for every single interview he does where he sits there just like,
There
and
is a
I
big
saw
bomb
that
dropped at the end of the fourth one. Oh my God, I almost cried. It was
I
horrible.
saw that 50 Cent, he did an interview specifically with ABC News because it's one of the few channels shown in prison because he wanted Diddy to
That
see it.
Diddy's
That
prison,
is
that
like
Brooklyn
petty,
men's jail.
petty. Yes, petty,
Yeah. And he was
petty,
glowing in
petty.
that interview.
love
Yep.
it.
Yes, he's like
He had a biggest smile
smiling.
on his face. Yeah.
I love 50. I love Curtis. I love 50 Cent. We will be watching it again. It's very disturbing content, obviously, and very like intense. And I will never forget you, Missy, having a production call with Miranda when she was saying, because she lives outside of Hollywood, I'm hearing all these crazy rumors about Diddy getting raided. And I was like, are you
Yeah.
sure? Are we spending too much time on the internet? Like, are we sure? And then it
No,
happened.
it's like
I
a
was
few
like, I'm
months
so
before it
sorry.
happened.
I
Wow.
doubted you. Like, yeah. I was like, how? And she was like, no, I'm hearing that like something's gonna happen. I was like, how did I doubt you? Okay.
I didn't want
So
to be
yeah.
right, but I was. Yeah. I didn't want
Yeah.
to.
Yemisi, thank you so much for your time today. I love seeing you everywhere. Please come back. You're just such a delight and obviously so brilliant. Anything you want to plug? You have a wonderful TikTok, very funny TikTok. You went a little viral. Your commentary about Cory Booker. I loved it. I love mess. So I
It's
loved it.
interesting. That's all. He's married now, and that's interesting.
To a woman. That's also interesting.
Oh,
I think
what
we all had
thought. Sorry.
a similar reaction. Yeah.
Fine. She's on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter now. Anything else you want to plug before we say goodbye?
Catch me on Special Report with Brett Baer tonight.
Oh, that's so fancy, by the way. That's like such a fancy booking.
Enjoy.
It's like a
He's
serious,
lovely.
fancy. He is so nice, but that's like a serious show.
Maybe one
Like,
day I'll be on with Ben.
yeah, I hope so. I've got to tell him to say hi to you, my husband, to say hi to you if he goes on. But like I said, we wish you Merry Christmas, and I hope to see you when I'm back from maternity leave, and I will see you on all my screens in the meantime.
Love it. Thank you, Miranda. Thank you,
Thanks,
Megan.
Missy. See you
Thank
soon.
you.
Bye.
All right, guys, that's our show today. I hope you have a wonderful Monday and enjoying
Tuesday.
all the Christmas decorations, especially Miranda's the Annabelle
I
with
think
the
I'm gonna
sage hat.
put somebody else here for next time. Maybe I'll keep my
It's
Santa.
so good. I love it. I love our Christmas. And thank you again, Ashley, for decorating. It looks so good. I love it. Love it so much.
cute.
And I love a decorated cactus. Wish you guys the best. And we will see you same time, same place on Wednesday with George Santos. For George Santos Claus show.
And Diddy.
They have
Diddy
ho, ho,
rundown.
ho, and Diddy. Yes. You guys then. Thank you.
Bye.